Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you have not yet subscribed, I really would like you to subscribe. So I'm talking about midlife reinvention in my channel, but also about health, predominantly focusing on how to break the sugar habit and diabetes, pre-diabetes, but also on the midlife and reinvention and what you could do for yourself at the point in your life that you maybe lost a little bit of meaning and purpose and you don't know what is the next out there for you. And I'm celebrating my 45th birthday. And I thought that I'm going to do like a kind of reflection and highlight 45 things in my life that are so important for me. And the last 5 years actually has been a revelation. So I've started my personal self-development 5 years ago, 2018, with health, because I truly believe that health is the foundation of everything. But I had a conversation today with somebody who says, I want to share my gifts. I'm very much so interested in life coaching, in holistic life overall. I have been so much through in my own life and I want to share it with others. So this, I guess, video is about like, how can we go maybe from some kind of the midlife crisis into the awakening? And it takes a lot of courage for sure. So for me, I mean, nowadays the crisis can be at any stage of our life. We are so quite often aware what we want from our life or we don't want from our life. We also are aware of different possibilities and opportunities in our life, and sometimes we may feel at any stage in our life that we are stuck in a place and we're not going anywhere, and we want to share our gifts, whatever they are. So I'm in my 45th birthday and I'm absolutely happy where I am. But that wasn't the case 5 years ago. And I had my fair share of pain and suffering. I truly believe that pain and suffering is the kind of the force in your life, that life without the pain and suffering we won't grow, right? I truly believe that every pain and suffering has its own purpose, and you can transform it into something really, beautiful in your life. And sometimes it takes a lot of time too. And I know that I don't know anything about your life. I can only refer to my own life. But I think, there are a lot of things that we can do for ourselves to make ourselves better, happier, and healthier. And even though that we may be suffering for whatever reason, and there is so much suffering in this world, I truly believe that we can transform some of those thoughts to help us thrive in life. Now, I'm not saying that every single life and topic and pain and suffering can be just, oh, I changed the thought about it and I'm already a happier person. Sometimes it's the process, and sometimes we have to allow really days, months, and sometimes years of being in that place where we just need that awakening, right? And one of the things I would say, and I won't bore you with 45 things. I've recorded the podcast on, and I listed all the 45 things that are so important in my life, and I hope that you will find inspiration for it. I will just tell you briefly of my categories in my life, where I am right now. And just to give you a context, I came to UK as an immigrant. Never intended to stay. I wanted to be here to learn, to grow, to work, and then come back, right? Now, I don't know what else future is going to hold for me. I'm here in UK. We decided to stay here because at the end of the day, we are global citizens. We miss our families and our friends, but because we now go and visit them and talk on the phone with them quite often, I think that sort of brought us closer than when that technology wouldn't be available, right? So I came here with the open heart and mind to learn and to grow, to really understand the culture, and it just has become my home. I'm a British citizen, I have a passport, but I know that the beginnings are quite often maybe quite difficult and challenging for people being in different places, right? And I totally get it. And still there are things that I miss and I don't have it here. But we try to create our own world here in a different country, and have been doing this for now around, I think, 20 years, maybe less, a little bit less. But the thing is, we don't know where what's going to happen and where we're going to be. I think I'm open-minded and I love where I am at the moment, but I also love traveling, and I imagine myself traveling when I retire, or obviously now as well. So a bit of context on that. I'm diabetic type 1. I have been for over 25 years. This is my chronic illness. I have to deal every day. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great, but I'm very much so aware of the kind of limited condition that could be if I'm not careful. So I may spend my years later on in constant pain, not really being fit, and all of that, where I really want to avoid that. Yes, so what I can do is just only minimize the risk. I'm also, why I started my journey 5 years ago, right? So I was, happy in my corporate. I was high potential, and I thought, like, I'm gonna spend the rest of my days in this corporation because it's okay. It's just like you when you get comfortable, you feel like that's for me. I don't need to change anything. I'm happy where I am. But I've hit the burnout. I wanted, something else. I didn't know what that was. But one thing I knew, that I had to improve my health because it wasn't great. And this is how I started my journey to the holistic health. And it's amazing. I've shared this with this person because I'm always brutally honest about, building your business, building your passion to something that can bring you additional income. I'm very brutally honest because sometimes we see this beautiful world of people who have been doing this for years and 10 years, 20 years. And we think, like, how did they get there? And a lot of people just got there through the journey, right? So it didn't happen overnight for most of them. We know probably Tony Robbins, he has been doing this for 46 years, and we think, like, oh my goodness, he's amazing. Of course you are, because after so many years, you have such a resilience, and I'm sure he has his own bad, difficult days, but he knows how to manage your mind. So to manage your mind, his mind, first of all, right? So he knows how to manage his thoughts about something, right? And this is what I have learned over 5 years, other than obviously the self-care and all of that, is how I manage my mind and my thoughts about something that will make me either happy or unhappy, stressful, not stressful, and anxious. We have so many different topics out there telling us what it is, and we feel like it's our own reality, whereas for a lot of us it's not. It's just the way we think about it, right? But there are ways to really be work on yourself, right? Working on your thoughts every day. It's not only about mindfulness meditation. It's about, I have this thought and it's just not serving me. I feel stressful and I don't know why. So I do something about it and I change that thought to make it a different thought that serves me, and first of all is based on facts. Quite often we have a lot of stories in our head. So predominantly through the personal development journey, I've realized that, my thoughts create my reality, and where I didn't want to accept it at the very beginning because I was seeing everything around. I wanted to change my husband and, like, why don't you understand me? Why don't you say, oh yeah, I get that. Personal development is not for everyone, and definitely it cannot be forced. Some people get it straight away. Some people need more time. Some people feel like, well, it's a fluff and whatever, and they're happy where they are. But most of us, when we are, or a lot of us actually, where we are focused on growth and personal growth, we can really get out a lot for ourselves. Okay, so I've split into, let's say, 5 categories, and I've listed 10 different points. So 45 years, what is the thing? The first thing is family and friends. Now, family and friends for me, obviously, it's the freedom of time. So whenever I talk to people who want to start their own business or do something with their passion and the gifts and talents, they say like, I want to be free, right? I want to have the financial independence. I want to have a freedom to create my own life on my own terms and using my gifts. And I want to be paid for what I love doing. And we create quite often that kind of a beautiful picture of what our day is going to look like. And I quite often encourage visualization, but I also want people to be very grounded in their present life, because that dream can create a lot of anxiousness right now because I'm not getting there. Like, we can't see our journey, right? We just can't see our progress, and we're frustrated with the results, whereas our life actually is changing, but we are not willing to notice. So for me, the family and the time I spend with the family is very important. And that wasn't the case at the very beginning, because I was spending a lot of time building my business. And I thought like, well, I'm going to go and create my own business and I'm going to have plenty of free time. It doesn't happen at the very beginning. It is a bit of a roller coaster. And if you are on your own and doing everything, you're probably going to spend a lot of time actually building your business. So I thought like, well, that's not really what I wanted. And yes, people can help you to get it quicker by the systems and everything else. We have business coaching strategies and all of that, but your mindset have to be in the right place, and you have to have money to invest, because they're not going to help you for free. I mean, there are a lot of free things out there, but the problem is we are getting overwhelmed how to do it. We have a monkey brain, so one day we can do things and the next day we just stay in bed because we don't know what else to do and we feel overwhelmed. I mean, it's a roller coaster, right? Okay, so for me, family and the time, the quality time, we talk, we read, we watch good films, and we travel as much as we can. And then absolutely, that's something that is very important. And obviously friends as well. So I've listed 10 points, and it's just really patience and empathy. I'm trying to be empathetic with my teenage daughter, and it's difficult because some days are fantastic and some days are just really down. But I'm trying to develop that empathy and look at things from her level a little bit, but also give her boundaries. So bringing up a teenage daughter, that's probably my next stage in my next few years before she goes to uni, that how we can develop that relationship between mom and daughter, which has not always been the best. Like, I'm very critical. I used to be very critical, try not to do it anymore, but sometimes I am. And, you know, at this stage, children are children, and teenage children are especially trying to develop their own identity and who they are in the world. So I'll be talking about that as well, definitely about the journey. Health, I mean, is wealth. Move, eat well, take supplements, really, really important. And we can do it together as a family. Forgiveness. Also, forgiveness is so important. Like, we all make mistakes, right? We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. It's good to apologize for mistakes. So taking the ego out, especially with my husband, and just really get on with it. But also forgiveness and time for ourselves, respect, making and admitting to mistakes. We're not perfect, as I said. And really be in a kind of love for each other, because that love also changes, right? So the love is not, it's not that kind of desire only for us as a woman and man. It's a desire for something else now at this stage. It's desire for looking after ourselves when we are well, not well, support in our respective passion and hobbies, and spending time on our own. So much important. I found out that being on my own, I'm never alone. I don't feel lonely, right? I love being alone, but I also love being with other people and with my family. And I have this tendency of actually being alone. And I know that I have to really break it down and say, like, okay, let's invite some friends. Let's be together with other people, because it's important for our mental health. But I like being alone. That's what I've noticed. And I never feel lonely, because you can be with other people and feel lonely because they don't understand you. They don't get you. Or you think you have the story that if you say something, they will laugh at it. And you know that you can share things with some people and you can't share with others because they won't understand. And that really creates a lot of loneliness. And I think loneliness is a big issue. It's a mental health issue for many people. It's something that really keeps us apart in many ways. Therefore, I'm very careful of actually not enjoying being alone all the time too much, but also having that time to recharge and recuperate, but also time to meet with other people. So now moving on to the next category. So for me, it's myself. So where I am for myself. So first of all, health is my wealth. And really it's from midlife crisis to the midlife awakening, right? So I had that awakening 5 years ago, and I have been working on this, and it is changing, right? It doesn't stay the same, because I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm going on another level. Some things are more important than others. First of all, simplicity in things, finding the calm, the happiness in everyday life, rather than just waiting for some momentous and big things just to make me happy. And being like grounded and leveled, right? It's fantastic to have a success, but I don't necessarily want to be getting down from very, very high up, because you have that kind of swing in emotions. I try to be grounded, to be excited, absolutely, to be joyful and happy, but be grounded in where I am, so I can manage my emotions and my thoughts. I mean, this is the revelation. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thoughts every day. Well, a lot of them actually very negative. And to be honest, and sometimes you hear things from other people. They're not necessarily intended to say that, but they do. And you take it yourself. Like, I'm working on it. I'm putting the thoughts. The moment I think something negative, honestly, I write it down and break it down so that it doesn't stay in my head and doesn't grow into the story I cannot manage. And so that I can get up and wake up and really get on with my next day. And sometimes I need a break. Okay, so self-confidence, which comes also from failing. It's okay to fail to get to the success. I think we are in the culture of success, we're feeling that, if I fail or make mistake, then, how people are going to look at me, right? It's not about what other people think about it. And really, it's about you and whether you are in agreement with your own values. My self-development journey also took me closer to God. So I've always been, I have my faith, I have been brought up in Catholic faith, but it has always been a kind of a lukewarm faith, right? But I've realized in this convoluted, challenging world with so many different values coming from so many different sources, I need to have a moral core, a moral code that I can stand by always, right? And so I've started to read scriptures and started to find a lot of similarities between what is said in the scriptures, in between the coaching, like the primary concepts there. Like one of the concepts is about not really getting into what other people think. And this is in the scripture actually, and it shows there was a king in the royal kingdom in the Old Testament. There is the king called Saul, and he was preoccupied with a lot of what other people were saying, to the point that he was killing and wanted to kill other people because he wasn't in agreement with it. So very much so preoccupied with that. And I don't want that, because it actually kills my own soul, my own creativity, and my own pursuit of what I believe is good in this world. And it is firmly rooted in the scriptures, in God, in Jesus Christ. This is what I read. And to be honest, it's not easy to say this one, because I always feel like your faith is your personal thing. And I totally believe it. You choose what you think you want to choose for yourself. But I'm telling you what I'm choosing. And it has been a revelation, to be honest. I found so many kind of hope, right? Hope there is so important concept in scriptures, and also no lack of preoccupation with our materialistic world only, that at the end of the day we all going to end up the same way, and we can't take it to the grave, right? Yes, sometimes we have this preoccupation with leaving some kind of legacy. It's not even that anymore for me. It's fantastic if I can do it in a way like I will have podcasts, and I don't know whether there would be in 50 years times YouTubes and podcasts, but I'm recording this, but I'm not preoccupied with that. I want to live in the present moment, and I want to use my gifts and talents for what I do the best, and then in my deathbed say, I've tried it and I don't regret it. And I also want to live as long as possible. Of course, I can plan, but it's my plan. God's plan may be different. But the thing is that I want to do that. So, yeah, so I'm here for my daughter and hopefully her children. And I'm here together with my husband for as long as possible, so we can support each other. Okay, relationships, very important. And especially relationship with my husband. I mentioned about this. There is a beautiful book by C.S. Lewis about four loves, what are the loves in our lives. And I think I'm moving through all these loves into something that is very, very core, that's going to stay with us until we die. And that requires another level of understanding between two people within a relationship. And I'm committed to my marriage to work this through. Some people say, well, if there is no love and there's just no point in pursuing. For me, marriage above the love is a commitment, because there are days we basically honestly feel like we hate that person because they've done something, said something. And I understand that they may be different things, but in most of the cases, in a lot of the cases, actually that's not the case. It's just what the story we create. And rather than open kind of the respectful and open communication, we just go our ways and create our own stories. And that has been a lot for me when I was building the business. So relationship is all about obviously love, but also commitment, and relationship with myself as well. So commitment, when I say it, I do it, right? So closing the gap between what I say and what I do. And that's commitment again, because it's not going to be pretty every day. Sometimes I will want to just not do anything and just watch Netflix, right? It's a natural human tendency to be lazy on the couch and not actually getting out of the comfort zone. That's how brain works. So celebrate success and having kind of the selfless attitude, support myself and my husband at every step of his growth and my growth, and yes, and commitment to make it work. The next category is money. So that's actually so that's a fourth category. So in each category I have 10 things. So as I said, listen to my podcast when I'm exactly listing what they are. Money is an important thing, right? So I've covered a lot of like spiritual, the health and all of that. So the next step is money, because money gives us, makes things easier, right? And we know that so many people suffer from the poverty, and I cannot sometimes understand why, because work is available, right? You can do honestly different work. Now, one of the things with the work, especially the low work, is just whether it's paid fairly. And that unfortunately is the thing that has to be addressed in the first instance, because there is work out there, but there is a mismatch between what people want to earn, what skills they have, and what work is available. And you can now get money in so many different ways. So I totally don't understand fully the poverty, other than there is a generational problem where children look at their parents who never worked and they don't feel that they will work, that there is somehow a different way to live, or this minimum requirements. I'm okay, I'm going to just go to the food bank and get some kind of universal credit and it's going to be fine. That's my existence. I don't need anything else. I honestly believe that a lot of those issues, and there is no judgment in anything because I don't know, but it's generational, it's trauma, it's the background, it's the system as well. I think the system is horribly wrong in almost every country, and it is a problem. It's a big problem. But I believe, and I watched quite a few videos on YouTube on poverty because I wanted to understand the psychological part of the poverty. I wanted to understand why these people live in the poverty, and a lot of these people suffer from mental health issues. Right? It's a mindset thing that they don't believe that they are worthy of anything more than they have. And they got to the point that it's so overwhelming for them, they cannot see the way out. And what they get, instead of they getting like coaching, therapy, the mental health support, they're getting more money to support them. But it's never enough because they don't have that mental understanding of what they could do with their life. And in a lot of cases, I must say. So it's very interesting. Now, I don't come from very poor background. Money was always in my house. However, it doesn't matter how much money we had, it was never enough. But I grew in kind of the understanding that I can go and get more money if I want to. So I'll get qualification, I get education, I get, I had so many jobs when I was a student, and I was quite good at it. Like I was teaching at some point 3 different foreign languages because I was traveling around. Like we didn't have internet. So I was I was looking for people in the newspaper, and I was calling them and said, listen, do you want to learn English? Do you want to learn German? Do you want to learn French? Oh, I've see that you've put the advertising in that I can come to your house and I'm going to teach you French or whatever, right? So 3 languages, because I knew English very well, but I knew German and knew French basics, a little bit intermediate. So I could always teach people and children the basic things. I've always wanted to, and I did it. And there was no internet, right? There was no internet whatsoever. So I was traveling everywhere and I was teaching people. That's why I have mentality. If I want to, I get it. My parents, I don't know where it come from. I don't know. I was always like that because I was always very ambitious and wanted that, right? So money for me now, the thing is with money is, I believe, 90% of it is mindset, right? Or maybe less. But the rest of it is obviously the habits, the budgeting, the expenses, understanding where the money goes, sacrifices, right? If I want to save and spend less money, then I look what I spend on and I don't spend it next month, right? Cooking at home, right? a perfect saving team. If you can cook, so we are a family of 3. I can feed my family by cooking for 85 quid a week, right? Sometimes I spend 120, sometimes I spend 85 quid. So it is possible, but this is how much I spend. And of course, it could be, sometimes it goes out a little bit. This is just nobody is perfect. But I truly believe in the abundance of money. That's my mindset. And then I go and get it in a way I believe will be serving my family. Now, I don't, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. For me, money is the journey, right? Money as an entrepreneur and building my own business. So making sure that I spend wisely and I don't overspend. Then the saving for the future, the pension, and also teaching my daughter in terms of money, but also building the passive income. The passive income is the way to freedom, but it doesn't take overnight. And passive income is great when you can have it, and you can have it in so many ways. If you start investing now, you can have a passive income in the future through the dividends. You can rent out the properties. Like, you can do a lot of different stuff nowadays, but it takes time and it takes courage to first of all learn, then find out and do something about it. But most of us live in fear. Fear stops us, because if we invest, what happens if we invest and we lose the money, right? What happens? Like, we cannot obviously put on in all the money we have and then counting on luck, right? Some people are brave, but most of us are not. But it shouldn't stop us to actually thinking how much money I can put in, and then and how much money I can invest, and all of that. I believe money is, first of all, about money mindset, about investing, building passive income, working and earning money in your passion. It is totally possible. It's just the courage and the way you want to do it. I mean, I can talk about money so long, and probably at some point I'm going to do a series in podcasts and even courses on money, because I truly believe, especially for women, it can be a revelation and a life-changing thing when you start working on your money mindset, right? Okay, and the future. First of all, live in the present moment. So for me, future is fantastic, and I have dreams and visualization and vision boards, and I have it. But if I live only for the future and I don't live in the now, I'm going to be very unhappy, because my now is not necessarily what I envisage myself in the future. So I have to bring two together. I believe I built solid foundation with the time and money I invested in my own self-development, especially in my brain. And now I need to use it for the future good of myself, my family, but for others as well. For me, is really about how I can help others. I plan holistically and with my well-being in the center. I can't imagine myself not really focusing on my health, physical, mental, spiritual health as well, right? If I want to control everything, I will be very unhappy, because it's impossible, right? If I let go some of the things, I'm sure that I can live with that and be happy. I invest in myself, courses, training, health. In terms of owning things, having things like that includes not only physical things like I can buy a new sofa, a new TV or whatever, but also experiences. I love travel. If I could, I would travel 5-star all the time. It's not possible all the time, but definitely this is how I see myself in the future, traveling, right? But I'm owning things and having all these experiences is the means to a simple, healthy, and happy life. We quite often want to go overboard, whether we can afford it or not, because it somehow gives us a status, right? I'm always fascinated how people are fascinated with luxury goods. And but the luxury goods for people who not necessarily have enough money for it but still will buy it, it's a kind of the status thing. Oh, so this person, because that person has a car, handbag, or whatever, they this particular brand, they probably can afford everything and a lot, and they are doing well in life, they're the happiest ever and whatever, right? So we make certain assumptions because it's associated, the luxury brands are associated with that we can afford a lot of things. And when I talk to potential clients, I always coach them on money mindset. Like, working with a coach is an expensive item most of the time on one-on-one, because the results you can get are absolutely amazing. But I need to understand that we are a good match. And I coach on money mindset because it's like, people are not used to spending so much money on themselves, especially women. And it's a challenge. It is definitely a challenge. But I also coach them on understanding what they truly want from life, because they come to me and then, I want to travel, I want to buy a new car, and sometimes we are asked to put all of these things on our visualization. But if they become a main target and a main thing, we're going to be utterly unhappy. For most of us, that's not the case. We want to bring impact. We want to be happy with our life. We want to be healthy. We want to help other people to get where they are. Yes, we want to be wealthy in a way that we don't have to worry about the bills. We have a roof over our head. We want travel, and we want to travel in comfort, right? And so I always ask a few questions around that, so to make the awareness and clarity, because if you are focused on the wrong thing, you're gonna take wrong actions, basically. And I dedicate my time to others, and I'm so happy to do it in paid and unpaid capacities. Now, I truly believe that coaches should be rewarded according to their skills and the results and the performance they give. But I truly also believe that when you create nice, good content, which is free of charge, you can help other people more than you think. And but you have to be in a certain place to do it. And that usually is related to a financial status, because if you are a person who is struggle with your bills and you have no food, no money for food, and then you want to coach, it's not going to be the best coaching, because your mindset won't be the best. So you can dedicate your time to others when all your other needs are met, right? And you can do it properly. That's why I took up a corporate job to be paid, and develop my business and myself alongside it. And I don't regret it. I have less time, but that's okay. It's only a means to get somewhere where I want. And I love the work I do. Honestly, I love the people I do. I do travel as well. I met wonderful people. I learn a lot, and I have skills and gifts which I want to use, because I know that I can be used to the benefit of our future on this planet, I must say. So yes, I'm happy to dedicate time to others, and I think I want to do more of that in the future. But it cannot be at the expense of my time for myself and my family. I need to make sure that I balance this all out. Okay, I have been talking for so long, oh my goodness, but I think I want to come back to it next year on my birthday, and I'm going to listen to this as well. That's why I'm creating the content, the videos and podcasts, because I so much want to. It's such a good reflection. So next time when I do it, when it's going to be before my birthday, I'm going to watch this video and listen to my podcast. And I can't wait to actually compare and reflect. So thank you very much for listening. Leave me a comment or anything you feel like resonated with you. And I would love to hear from you. Take care and all the best.